What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Optimal EV. Today I'm going to be giving you another build guide and rundown on the Volvo C40 Recharge.
This is our first Volvo video on this channel, but we have actually done a video on the Polestar 2, who is technically owned by Volvo. So if you do enjoy this video or any other electric car videos, please make sure to subscribe. And with that being said, let's jump into the build.
All right, here we are on the build guide, and as you see, we have the first look at the C40 Recharge. One thing I did notice when looking at the different trims of Volvo, we have the XC40 Recharge, which is more of the SUV look, and then the C40, which is more of that crossover style that we've seen across a lot of the EVs in the market.
Yeah.
You know?
Troy and I have actually gotten a chance to ride in both of these cars when we went to the Philadelphia Auto Show, and both honestly offered a very smooth ride. I think, if anything, the only thing that we were kind of upset about was the infotainment in the center, which we'll get to later.
Yes, but it was really quick. I mean,
Yeah.
it was surprisingly quick.
Super fast, good performance.
But the price. So we're going
Right.
to start. You're going to see $56,395 for the Core, which, as you see on the bottom where it says View All Features, this is really just the standard trim. They do highlight a couple things for you, like Google it has, their cross traffic alert, their panoramic moonroof, and then as you go down, you'll see just another, a typical list of all the options that are standard on these electric vehicles. Kia does a very similar list like this, so you can always scroll and see if there's any specific options you're looking for,
Right.
but it really is just the standard stuff.
Yeah, this is a good website for those of you who are looking for very specific details. I know a lot of car buyers and people who are in the market for cars really love to make sure they know exactly what it is that they're getting, so it's actually kind of nice that Volvo gives them all the details they could imagine.
Yep. And then one thing just to highlight, we see the panoramic moonroof is important. The 19-inch wheels starting off with a nice size wheel here. Obviously, the interior lighting options. So, if you want to go through every single option, that's not what we're here for. We're going to go over the ones that you can actually add additional to the vehicle. So in that, we're going to add the Plus package, where you're going to see a $1,500 increase.
Here in the Plus package, major highlights are the 360-degree camera and fog lights. As you can see, 360-degree camera, I'm sure you are familiar with that, where you can get a bird's eye view of the car and kind of look all around it, as well as fog lights, which I guess are always nice to have.
And then you're going to see the additional options here. So if you see Plus on the side, that is what's added on. So as Sam already went over, the 360 camera and the fog lights, the park assist, the front, the rear, and the sides. So that's all part of that 360 camera parking package. As we scroll down, you'll see foldable load floor with cargo divider and grocery bag holder. And you'll scroll down, you'll see that you have the safety and security. So you have HomeLink, which adds in your garage door openers, your home alarms, and exterior lighting. So it's nice to have some included features for the safety. When we go back, you're going to see a couple more. We have power passenger seat, power folding head restraints. So the passenger seat getting power is definitely important for a lot of people. So this might be the package that you want if you need power seats for your spouse or your friend, whatever you need.
I think altogether, a lot of the differences in this package, at least from my point of view as like just an average consumer, it's a pretty reasonable upgrade. I mean, for the price, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, 360 cameras are very important. If you're parking in tight spaces, it's pretty nice, especially the power seats. We also have on the bottom, just wanted to highlight the Apple CarPlay, the Google built-in. It says high-performance audio system, so it doesn't really give you a ton of details on the audio system. But
right.
We're going to look into it further, and we can put it in our comment section below.
I found it interesting that they don't explicitly mention Android Auto if they do mention Apple CarPlay, so maybe that's not something that's...
Yeah, it's interesting. If you have Google on there, it should be Android Auto. So we'll look
Right.
into that as well, and we'll leave it down there.
So for the price of $1,550, you can add the Plus trim. That being said, I feel like when the car starts at $56,000, there's some features that should already kind of be included. Maybe all of those, seat adjustment features should just come standard, or, some of the weather packaging type thing.
Yeah, it's hard to say $56,000 for a car without, passenger power seats. Next, we have a big upgrade too, so $4,800.
Right.
So if we select that, you're going to see that we have a lot more features where they do actually describe the sound system here. So I guess their standard sound system, they just call it, great quality sound
Right,
system.
it's just an average sound system.
Yeah, but we have Harman Kardon, which obviously Harman Kardon has, one of the best reputations in the car market, where you get 13 speakers, so not bad. Ventilated subwoofer too. So, small things, but, everything matters with the sound if you're someone who listens to a lot of music.
Right. This car comes with Pilot Assist, which is Volvo's version of just self-assisted driving. It's got a lot of your cruise control, adaptive cruise control, auto braking, speeding up and slowing down with traffic depending on how things go. It's all basically controlled automatically for you as long as your hands are still on the wheel.
Yeah, I've had a chance to use the traffic assist, and it's always nice, obviously growing up driving old Honda Civics, you
Right.
really have to pay attention in traffic. But in this case, you can kind of just chill. Obviously, you should still pay attention, but you can hang out, watch the road, make sure the car's doing everything for you the correct way. As we scroll down, you're going to see we have the heat pump, which we have discussed before, but there is a nice description here where they tell you exactly what the heat pump does, how it saves you battery, and also can help heat up the car quicker and keep the batteries at the right temperature. We also have a heated steering wheel, which, again, now we're jumping up to $61,000 almost, and we're just getting a heated steering wheel.
Right.
So.
This is something that I feel like should come standard, but obviously Volvo has their justifications for the price.
Yep, and then we're going to go down. We're going to see all the things that were included from the previous package, the 360 cameras. We have the adaptive cruise control, the fog lights, headlamp cleaners. That one's new. A pilot assist, and the park assist front and rear.
As we scroll down, we do have 2 options here for 20-inch 5-spoke black diamond cut alloy wheels. I'm not quite sure why there's 2 options here, but it might just be the website's way of jumping from the Ultimate and Core models. That's all.
Yeah. So the Plus had the 19s, and then it looks like that maybe since they showed 2 different 19 trims.
Yeah, it's probably just 2 different options, and that's how it's listed.
Yeah, it's just coded that way.
Then, lastly, as we come down, we have foldable load floor with cargo divider and grocery bag holder, which
just from the previous.
Right,
yep.
just came from the last trim, and then HomeLink, which we have already covered.
The last would be the heated rear seats, the power passenger seats, and the power folding rear head restraints. So the only thing that's added here is the rear seats being heated is now standard on the Ultimate.
Right.
Next, we have air ventilated subwoofer, which was in that Harman Kardon, and then the Harman Kardon sound system. So that really ends it off. Definitely an expensive package, but there is a lot in there. The Cruise itself is probably something that I wish would be as a separate option.
Yeah.
Maybe something $500, $800. Yeah, it just wouldn't be nice to see like a safety package separate. But at the same time, we have seen brands do it either way. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It just all depends on what options you want.
So next we have the powertrain options, which thankfully on this Volvo are very simple. We have a twin motor standard all-wheel drive option with 4.5 seconds on the 0 to 60 and 226 miles of range.
Now, there's 2 things there. The range, obviously that's not something that cuts it for us when we talk about our 300-mile range. Or at least, in the high 2s.
Yeah.
But the 4.5 seconds 0 to 60 is really nice. So.
Super quick. Here we have, I think, another car brand who is deciding to sacrifice a little bit of range for good performance. Mm-hmm. I think for a large majority of drivers, this might actually be a good thing because I think people are going to respond better to a quicker car than having to charge more frequently.
All right, now we see a better look of the vehicle where we're going to see some colors. But before that, I just wanted to show you the wheel differences. So if you go from the Plus, which is the middle 19-inch, you will see these wheels. And if you go to the Ultimate, you will see that they change to the 20s. So you do have to scroll up and down just to kind of see them, but just want to make it easier for you guys when you're actually building the vehicle.
First impression of this car, I think it honestly looks super good. I feel like I say that about a lot of EVs because really I just love the little bit of uniqueness that a lot of these brands add to their cars that make them a little bit different. You can kind of easily tell that they're an electric car if you see it on the road.
Yeah, something that, I've always loved about Volvo is the front and like the middle part of the car, but I know they're always been known for this, but the lights in the rear still don't. I feel uncomfortable with it. I said about the Polestar too as well.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, the back looks a little odd.
It's just the lights. Honestly, it's just the lights for me. I feel like the whole shape of the car reminds me a lot of a Mach-E.
Yeah.
And I really like the way a Mach-E looks. Now, for colors, we have a lot of different options here, starting off with black stone.
Yeah, it's going to be our flat black. You're going to see it says glossy, sleek, solid black. Then we go to our elegant, deep black metallic, which is $695 for the color. So adding on more of a charge.
I mean, I don't know how you can. I wonder what the main difference is. Again, we always talk about this on the websites. It's really hard to tell the difference with colors all the time on a website page and not seeing it in person. But I really wonder, the differences between black and onyx black.
Yeah, I guess in this case it seems like just a metallic, so maybe it's just more expensive to make, but I doubt it.
Fusion red, that looks super good. Moving on to Thunder Gray, I also think this is a really good color.
I feel like Volvo's always done like nice blues.
Yeah.
Fjord blue.
Yep. Silver Dawn. Wow, that's a good name for just basic silver.
I like that.
Yeah.
Crystal white. As you see, the website takes a little second to load.
And lastly, we have Sage Green. I think it's a pretty nice car. It's not super obnoxious green or anything like that. And I think this might be the color that we saw in person when we had a test drive in these.
I think we saw this blue, the Fjord blue, and the green. I actually think I don't really like green on most cars, but I think I would go the green on this one.
This looks really nice. It's almost like a gray. I think that's probably why it looks so good.
It's not too much. Yeah. It's kind of like a camping tone to it.
Yep. Moving on, we have the wheel options, which I feel like they should make it easier for you to just go back and forth with the trims. But that being said, these wheels look really sick. I love the way that these wheels look.
Definitely. I would definitely go with the 20s. They don't say anything about the range either. So a lot of websites will tell you the difference of range when you select the different rim models. So just note that it doesn't say it here. Usually the bigger rims you have, the less range you're going to get. So just keep that in mind.
Moving on, the interior. So finally, we get to talk about kind of a lackluster infotainment system. I think if you're someone who's coming from a pretty old car, that you're not really getting too much change here. There's obviously a touchscreen in the middle. You get to connect your phone wirelessly or with Apple CarPlay. I think this is just a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, I think they're a little behind with the infotainment. Even if the infotainment is intuitive and feels nice when you're actually going through it, the screen itself and kind of just how it's placed doesn't really fit the modern styling of all the other EVs, like the Kia EV6, Ioniq 5, obviously same company, BMW, Mercedes, and they are in that conversation of luxury cars. So they really need to catch up with the infotainment.
They even have sort of like a crystal or glass shifter, which is pretty dope. It looks super clean. And I think the climate control looks like manual buttons, which I'm all for. I think it just feels kind of out of place.
So for the colors, again, we have the wool blend, which is that lighter interior, which we're usually a big fan of. A nice two-tone, which is like a microtech, so it looks like it's not an actual leather.
Oh, they have definitely explicitly mentioned there's 100% leather free on all these cars. So they're no longer using real leather anymore.
Keeps it simple. You know? Then we also have this charcoal suede, which is cool. I know suede is like a really nice material, I feel, but at the same time, it does get dirty easily. So just keep that in mind.
It's a good point.
And then last, you'll see we have to actually remove the sage green and get the black stone to get this interior. And it actually gives you this kind of like blue two-tone interior on the bottom, which I haven't seen much like that. It's really cool.
I also noticed that the shifter changed. It's no longer that see-through. It's kind of just hollowed out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Looks nice, though. I think the interior seats look good. It looks comfy. I just think the one thing they still need to work on is that infotainment system.
Now, almost before we wrap this up, we do have an option to add a package here. This is the Protection Package Premier. It's really just accessories, wheel locks, plastic luggage mat, first aid kit, rubber floor mats. Stuff we normally advise consumers to try and buy like third party or opt out of when you can, because they're pretty overpriced when you get it right from the manufacturer.
Yeah, the one thing that is nice though is the wheel locks. So that usually a lot of brands include that. So maybe if you do want it, you might want to actually get the package just for the wheel locks. Also, one thing that it actually disappeared, the package, because we were on the Ultimate. You'll see that there's a climate option too. So if you don't get the Ultimate, you can get the climate functions as a separate option, which would give you the headlamp cleaner, the heated steering wheel, the heated rear seats, and the heat pump. So, if you need that for where we are in, East Coast, some cold climates, you can actually, have that without having to pay all the money for the Ultimate.
Yeah, this is kind of going off of the point that we made earlier, which is just basically, we wish there was more things like this. We wish that if you needed, you had a special need and you wanted it filled with just one package, you had the option to add it instead of just going all or none.
100%. Also, just so you know, when you do switch it back to the core from the Ultimate, all the accessory options show up. So I don't know if it's actually standard. It's not saying it is. I think that they just coded it on the website where it doesn't show up when you click the Ultimate, because you have the option for the mud flaps, the on-call. I mean, this is all included stuff, the on-call, the Volvo Cars app, the maintenance, but you have the option for the load bar and the tow bar hitch. So if you do select the Ultimate, you'll notice it disappears, but there's no mention on the Ultimate of getting the trailer hitch or anything. So I think it just doesn't show up.
I don't want to say that it's safe to assume that it's included, but it's very likely for how expensive the package is.
And then you also have the Pixel LED headlights. So just an advanced LED, a nice cool pattern. I know that Volvo's been doing this for a little bit now.
Yeah, those always look really good.
So our final build came to $61,195 after our destination fee. So we're just going to review our final styling of the vehicle. You'll see price. I mean, that's expensive. $61,000 and barely getting heated steering wheel.
I feel like at the price of $61,000, Volvo is obviously pushing ahead into a pretty high price bracket. I mean, there's a lot of other options available right now for a similar, if not cheaper price. Tesla, Audi, BMW. There's a lot of options out there. I just think they should have included a little bit more for the price, because something that always comes back is like range. It's a quick car, but you really just can't go that far in it.
Yeah, even with even if they include a lot of features in here and if they put a ton of stuff in this car, the range is really what's going to get overshadowed by the other brands.
I'm sure build quality is really good, especially, it's coming from Volvo, a very luxurious brand.
So the one thing that still is lingering is that price. The 0 to 60 time is great. There are great options on the vehicle that you can get. Just wish it could be separated a little bit. But overall, it's a really nice car. So that's really going to end the build here at $61,195, and a couple, you can always variate it to get $56,000 maybe, but still super up there.
All right, so that concludes our build guide and rundown of the all-new C40 Recharge by Volvo. I think the car honestly looks like a really nice product to have, and I can't wait to see them on the road. I think it just might be a little bit too expensive for what you get.
Yeah, and it's just Volvo's just starting out. That's, one of their 2 electric cars they have now, not including the Polestars. So it is getting overshadowed by other brands. Just for our personal taste, range is definitely super important to us, a little more than, maybe 0 to 60 times. But, this might be right for you. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Always make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the future.